is the 29th of September, 2018. I'm in Wharton State Forest here in New Jersey, approaching Lower Forge Campground. I got dropped off last night, or yesterday, at around, I guess it was like 4:30 or so, and I hiked in a 6-mile hike, or roughly, it says 6 miles to Lower Forge, but I think that's as the crow flies. It's definitely longer than 6 miles. It got dark before I managed to make it to Lower Forge, so I found a nice open spot, some soft sand, set up my tent, my sleeping bag, camped out. Apparently I set up right in the middle of like an RV area. You can kind of still see some of the trails here. This one they're not supposed to use, but it looks like they use it anyway. And I guess it was off-road vehicles, some guys in Jeeps and jacked up trucks and stuff like that driving around. But on the way to the campsite, of course it's dark when this happens. It always happens when it's dark. I start hearing these insane vocalizations. Nothing I've ever heard in the woods here before. Didn't sound like a deer, didn't sound like a fox. There's no mountain lions around here. This is South Jersey, not North Jersey, so no chance of that, or very unlikely that they're here. No one's, as far as I know, ever even reported one around here. But yeah, these vocalizations were loud. I thought maybe it might have been like other Sasquatch researchers out here in the woods, you know, doing calls, but it was a little too loud to be a person. It was about half a mile or so, between a quarter and half a mile away, and it was loud. Like, unless they had a megaphone, which probably wouldn't have been able to hear the distortion or the difference in somebody vocalizing through a megaphone, you would, you know, just regular without one. But yeah, it was freaky. It was night, it was dark, scary, and freaked me out. So, okay, so it looks like 1.2 miles from Lower Forge Camp, which I'm guessing they're saying is that way. I don't know. Here we go, there's a sign. So I'm just gonna keep heading down Batona Trail, and I'm in Bass River State. Wow, I walked all the way from Wharton State Forest to Bass River State Forest. That explains a lot. There's been a lot of sightings in Bass River State Forest. Apparently that and Brennan T. Byrne, the Chatsworth area, is pretty hot, up close to Fort Dix. There's been a few sightings out there. Tell you what, still wasn't 100% sold on the idea that there was Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever the heck you want to call them, here in South Jersey, because it just doesn't seem plausible. You know, most people have a hard enough time believing that they exist. Just, you know, and then in the Pacific Northwest, where there's miles and hundreds of miles and acres and acres and acres of untouched forest. You know, this is South Jersey, you know. But also take into consideration, as I've said before, the Pine Barrens are 1.2 million acres of forest. So plenty of room there for something to, you know, hide and stay hidden. But anyway, back to these vocalizations. You know, I'm not saying I know every sound that every animal in the forest makes. I'm not even saying it couldn't have been other researchers. It's a possibility, but it was loud. And then I heard them again later on. I recorded it, but it was so faint. You know, I sent the recording to a couple of people and had them listen to it. They had a hard time hearing. I can hear it in the recording with the phone right in front of me, but I think maybe the sound quality is lost a little bit when you send it through, you know, through the phone. If I boost it and pull it up, you can hear it. But it's classic Bigfoot vocalization, something that I've heard. Sounds like the Ohio House. And I don't know, like I said, unless it was somebody else out here making those sounds, it was the big guys. I have seen a few tree bends, a few tree breaks, and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that stuff as far as using it as evidence goes. As people learn more and more about supposed actions of these creatures, you're gonna have people that are just out in the woods, like drunk or just being fools and just doing. There's a tree break right there. It's a little tiny one, but yeah, just let me break this tree. Hey, buddy, come here. Let's break this tree and make some Bigfoot researchers think there's Bigfoot around here. Stuff like that. Not the most likely of scenarios, but possibility. I like to stay skeptical, or at least put a skeptical eye on things before I say, "Oh my God, that's Bigfoot." Definitely Bigfoot. Definitely. I love those guys. Every bent blade of grass, every impression in the moss, is Bigfoot. You're not getting anywhere with that, man. If you're always thinking everything's Bigfoot, everything's always going to be Bigfoot. So I like to keep things a little more real. No offense to those researchers out there that do that, but you're a bunch of idiots. I only say that because I've dealt with a few people that were like that, and it's annoying. You're out in the woods with them. They're going to argue every single thing they find is Bigfoot. And no matter what, you're wrong and they're right. And I respect everybody's beliefs, but if it just doesn't, if there's other options, at least recognize the other options and say, yeah, that's a possibility, Could be that it was this, that, or the other, and not Bigfoot. Don't just decide that it is, because nobody can pay any attention to what you find after that. Once you get to that point, you're that guy or that girl that everything that, looks out of place in the forest is very obviously Bigfoot. Nobody's going to pay attention to you. And I think you get sucked down the rabbit hole with that. Here's a tree break, but I don't know. Looks like it's saying, if anything, it's saying don't go in here. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a bend right over there. Let's go see what that's about. All right, now I'm just walking down the Petona Trail in Bass River State Forest, and found this. I know I'm walking through spiders. There's a million spiders out here, and I hate spiders. I woke up with this big, hairy, 8-legged sucker right outside my tent. Thank God I brought my shoes inside. All right, now this is, okay, here's what this is. Okay, here's a tree falling down. The tree obviously fell from towards me. How did it collect the top of that tree and hold it and pin it down right there? This tree is over here. That tree fell over there. How did it get through this group of trees to pin the top of that tree down? Somebody or something somehow pinned the top of that tree down underneath of this one. All right, now I'm not saying people can't do that, because I think if I gave it my all, I could probably, jump up and bend that tree down. Maybe not without it breaking. You have to grab it up pretty high and stuff it underneath of that thing. If I had a lot of spare time on my hands and nothing better to do. But, and this would be right about where I was hearing those really loud howls. It was right past where I was camping. I just left camp about, I guess like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and already I'm seeing this stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that it's definitely Bigfoot, but it definitely is interesting, because that tree obviously fell directly towards my iPhone, which is what I'm recording on right now, and somehow grabbed a hold of the top of that tree and pinned it down. And then you got this tree break over here as we were walking in. It's like they're telling you, don't go in here. This is our area. Screw off, And here I am standing in it. Unarmed, by the way. Yeah, I'm in New Jersey, so you can't have a gun in the woods unless it's hunting season. Even then, you're a criminal. Yeah, you cannot carry in the woods in New Jersey unless you're hunting. And yeah, and there's black bear in here. I saw some sign of black bear on my way in. That was a little unsettling. I do have an air horn and a flashlight and a hand axe. That's my defense while I'm out here. Because if you bring a gun into the woods in New Jersey, again, you are a criminal, because New Jersey sucks. So yeah, I'll try to maybe put this together with some other footage if I find anything. I'm gonna try to stay out here again tonight. I don't know if I have enough food and water to do that, but if I do, I'm gonna try to spend another night out here and try to get some more recordings. I really want to catch, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, if it happens a second night in a row, I doubt there's researchers out here in the middle. First of all, you're not supposed to be out here walking around in the middle of the night anyway. If a ranger finds you, you can be fined for being out here at night. Now, if you're in a campsite or in a campground, you're fine. But if you're out wandering around here at night, just on foot, you can get in a lot of trouble. I was told that by a police officer out on the road. And, you know, he was cool about it. He didn't give us a hard time, but he said, you know, you can't be out here at night just wandering around. For what reason, I don't know, but here's a deer track. Seen a lot of deer. Walked right up on a big doe yesterday. Guess she didn't even hear me coming on the sandy roads. That's another thing too I want to bring up. I don't want to make this video too long, because I may string it together with a couple others if I find anything interesting. But this area is all sand. I mean, you got off the trail, you know, you'd never be able to find footprints in there. It's just pine needles and, you know, dead leaves and foliage, and you'd be hard pressed to find a track. Maybe in some moss. There's a lot of moss around here. Yeah, the Pine Barrens is a very diverse ecosystem. You won't find anything like it really anywhere else in the country, from what I've been told, from what I've seen. But yeah, all these trails and dirt roads are all sand. There was a sighting up north of here in Brennan T. Burn, I believe, and it was a lady and her husband driving down the trails in their car. She looked in the rearview mirror and saw a large, dark, humanoid figure, it wasn't a deer, jump across the road. She said she saw legs splayed out like scissors, straight up and down, and the arms like, you know, classic, one in front, one hanging out back as it jumped across the road. So maybe they're smart enough to realize they're gonna leave tracks in this soft sand, and they just jump over the roads. Just a theory, I don't know. But it shows their intelligence and problem solving and evasion, which would be very important in this area. Like I said last night, I also heard 5-6 trucks and Jeeps go by pretty much all night. They didn't stop until about 3 in the morning, because I kept waking up, because I never sleep good in a tent. I don't know anybody who does. And yeah, it was, so I mean, but there's been sightings, a lot of people out, you know, and that's just the people that have reported them to agencies like the BFRO and other agencies. Who knows how many people have seen them and just been like, I'm not saying anything about that. It's New Jersey. There's no Bigfoot out here. I must be insane. You know, they don't want to get made fun of. Another tree break, but that one's, I can't tell. Looks like the bottom part of it's still alive and the top's dead now. Who knows how long that's been like that. It's a weird area, but very interesting. And I do think there's a distinct possibility that they are here. Last year, I saw myself and a couple other people I was out with saw eye shine at about the 7.5, 8 foot height back in the woods.